Hello, Serge here from the Backyard Driving Range. All right, we have a letter that came in today from Michael O'Connell, and Michael says, "Hi Don, this is probably outside your area in the golf swing series, which I'm enjoying, but could you tell me how to get height in my 3-wood? I can hit a decent shot, but I can't get any height to it. When I look at the shaft of the club, it says ball flight high. Has it anything to do with ball placement? I would appreciate your comments." Absolutely. In fact, that's one of the first things I would look at. In many cases, if you're hitting the ball low, your ball placement might be off, might be a little bit too far forward. Here I got my trusty 3-wood. This has been with me for about 9 or 10 years. I actually snagged it out of DJ's trunk. And it was built for him, and DJ's 6'3" and I'm 5'9", and we both have the same 35-inch long arms. So this club was cut down 2.5 inches to fit me. I think it's 42 inches, and my driver's 43. And so I had to put a lot of lead tape on the bottom to get this right. And this is for years was my go-to club, meaning I hit this club so good it was scary, especially off a tee. Off a tee, we're downwind off a tee, and sometimes if I got a really good downwind, I'll take the 3-wood instead of the driver, and I'll still hit it farther than the driver because I get it launched into such a good flight really fast that it gets up there and rides the wind. Some guys, I can't tell you how many times I play with guys and I hit this thing and they look at it and say, "Why are you carrying the driver for?" Well, because if I don't have the wind helping me, I can still hit the driver farther with a good launch on my driver. So, but the 3-wood started giving me a lot of problems, just like you're having, and so I started after a while talking to Doc, and I said, "Doc, I think I need a new shaft in my 3-wood. I just keep hitting halfway pretty good shots, and they're not going very far, and they're staying too low and everything else. I think the shaft is too stiff." And Doc started saying to me, "No, Serge," he says it's probably not the shaft's too stiff. He said it's probably you don't have enough loft, because this is a 15-degree one, okay? He says you might need to move up to about 17 degrees, because remember, in most cases, club head speed is imperative to create launch angle for whatever loft you have, all right? And so that's why today most of our Swing Surgeon certified club fitters, they're selling a lot of 12-degree or even higher drivers to seniors and people and golfers with slow swing speeds, because you need a little bit more launch angle, and a good launch angle is going to carry the ball through the air more, because air has less resistance than the ground when the ball's rolling in ground, especially if the ground is got the grass is fairly high. As most private golf courses, players want a little bit higher grass. They don't cut it as tight as they do on a tour. I mean, a tour, they cut it like most of you folks. The fringes on your golf courses are taller than the grass on the fairways on a PGA Tour, and the PGA Tour, they're loving to keep them hard because they don't ever want mud on the ball, and so they're going to really roll out. But But he just kept saying, "Nope, I think your shaft's okay." So finally, I've been having for the last couple of years issues with even my irons not being played. I'm not hitting my irons long enough and everything else, and direction problems, and I'm not hitting them real bad, but I'm just not hitting them. I got too many mediocre shots in there, and might even be poor mediocre shots, but that as compared to more shots and they're a lot better hits. So I started really looking at things. I started looking at these dailies and seeing my things, and I noticed that I felt my ball position was a little too far forward. So if you have to move forward, you're losing your arm straightening out at impact, and if you're holding on and you haven't really released the club yet to impact, you're de-lofting it. But because you're de-lofting it, it's staying so low, it's not going that far unless it can get a lot of run out. Okay, so I noticed my ball position was off. And then ultimately, I finally came to the conclusion that the other thing that was bad was my posture was bad. I was getting into slouching a little bit like this instead of making sure I was athletically ready. And because when you slouch, your legs are lazy. The muscles are sort of relaxed, and you're kind of like sitting down on your hips and into your thighs and your legs. You're sitting down, and which gives you not a good angle of attack to the ball, and quiet, lazy legs, and your body, and you're not in good posture where your shoulders can turn and lift the club better, and you might actually start getting a little bit flat. And so once I got into better posture and got into the proper position, which would be just about at the heel or fraction behind it, But I think in the end, the thing that helped me the most was the better posture. And so when I got into those things, I started hitting the ball much more solid and get a better height on the fairway shots. But I'm pretty sure I'm not too far away from probably having to soften the shaft and/or go to a little bit more loft. Because years ago, these heads are much stronger than what 3-woods used to be years ago. This is a degree or two less than what I think they were years and years ago when I first started playing golf, and many of us older guys and ladies started playing golf. So it could be you need more loft, could be the shaft is off, could be the flex is off. So you meet best again, if you got an issue with a club, I'd go and see a swing surgeon certified fitter really quick and find out if it's the club and not you. It might be the club, the arrow, not you, the Indian, okay? And if that's the only one giving you the problem. But you got to find out why. And again, if the club is good, as Doc kept saying, the only possible in mind was I needed more loft. But I found it out I needed to change my ball position. As Michael pointed out, it was too far forward. If it was too far back, you'd be hitting it too soon and possibly starting to take divots with it, and/or maybe even hitting pop-ups or hitting slight chubby chunkies. So I think it's probably likely too far forward, and/or get into better posture. Make sure that you're maintaining your posture. And but first of all, probably start by getting your arrow checked, okay? Because if it's the arrow and it's not you, if you don't fix the arrow, you're never going to fix that issue. All right, so get that checked. Start with the club, and then once the club is checked and it's good and/or made correct, then if you're still not hitting that good, start looking at your ball position and then your posture, okay, and how it's affecting your swing. All right, well, that's it for the Surge for today, and I'll be talking with you all again soon.